Hello everyone, welcome to the KZGN News. Today we'll bring you news about last night's storm, news from Ridgecrest Regional Hospital, today's KZGN Talking Points editorial, and much more.
From the Rademacher Hills to Bee Mountain and the mighty Sierras, Ridgecrest to Inyokern and China Lake, this is your news for the Indian Wells Valley with the KZGN News crew.
Hello, I'm Tom Whitnick. Thanks for joining us for the news affecting Ridgecrest and the Indian Wells Valley. Well, how about that storm last night? We got a much-needed good dose of rain. The thunder and lightning was awesome, too. Here's a video from the lightning last night provided by viewer Edward Zeska. This rain is expected to continue off and on into the weekend. Keith will have details of this storm coming up on Tuesday's weather. And I want to remind everyone, if you take any pictures or videos of the storms as they go through over the next couple of days, email them to us at info@kzgn.net. We may use them on the program. Share them with us and the community. Again, thanks to Edward Zeska for today's video. In news from Ridgecrest Regional Hospital, yesterday at the Rotary Club meeting, they got a presentation from James Villabos, who is the program manager for program development from Cedars-Sinai Hospital. He works in their Department of Neurosurgery and Neurology. The other speaker was Ridgecrest Regional Hospital Operations Analyst Zach McDonough. They provided an overview of new services the two hospitals are teaming up to provide to patients here in Ridgecrest. They said that the progress of this new capability is due to the hospital manager Jim Server's desire to bring new medical services to the area, to provide more treatment right here at home. This program will reduce the need for patients to make so many trips out of town for medical treatment. The partnership is to use teleconsultation programs where Cedars-Sinai neurologists will be able to treat Ridgecrest patients through state-of-the-art technology. The goal being a system so sophisticated that a doctor at Cedars-Sinai can have a touchpoint interaction with a distant doctor or specialist who is skilled in diagnosing a problem a patient may have. It will allow patients to have a lot of preliminary medical work done here. The key for success is the new digital network that we have in Ridgecrest via Digital 395. This is a much advanced network that allows this service. It brings the potential for more services in the future. It could even lead to more surgeries being provided here via real-time links to specialists in another region being able to electronically be right in an operating room with a surgeon actually doing the surgery here. It may sound far-fetched and hard to understand, but the result could be that doctors here could have the specialist assistance they need here for maybe an emergency surgery and have a specialist right in the operating room with him electronically. Just think of the benefit of providing a treatment here instead of having to transport a patient via air to another hospital. Instead of our hospital just stabilizing a patient for transfer, they could actually treat the patient right here via real-time electronic links with specialists at Cedars-Sinai. This could even reduce costs of some services. And just think about patients that now have to go out of town just for a checkup after a procedure. This would surely help reduce costs and wasted time for a patient to have to travel out of town for a treatment. Many times, people have to take whole days off work to go all the way to LA for a half-hour actual appointment for a checkup. If that checkup was done right here via telemedicine, that patient saves a great deal. This is a great new way for us to get the best treatment. Hats off to Ridgecrest Regional Hospital for bringing new ways to better provide medical services to the people of Ridgecrest. As a side note, I recently even met a senior couple that actually moved here from Tonopah, Nevada for great medical services they get here versus what was available in Tonopah. That really exemplifies how we are getting a regional recognition for great medical services and treatment. Now here's a story from Sacramento about a problem probably many of you didn't know about. I didn't know about it until I read the story. California Governor Jerry Brown agreed to sign legislation that bans soap, toothpaste, and body wash that contains so-called microbeads, a move that puts added pressure on the industry nationally to phase out the products. The law, which will be imposed in 2020, bans the tiny exfoliating plastic beads that are common in many hygiene products, but also are showing up inside fish and other wildlife. Environmentalists say that the beads are easily passing through water filtration systems without disintegrating. A recent study found a staggering amount of microplastic pollution in the San Francisco Bay, but these beads have also been found in the ocean, rivers, and even the Great Lakes. California becomes the 9th state to ban the microbeads, with the Michigan legislature also considering a ban. But in California, the largest state to do so, and environmental groups hope the policy will be initiated nationwide. Intentionally adding tiny bits of plastic to toothpaste and face soap that gets washed down the drain seems crazy. We know that this material has been polluting the water we drink and the fish that we eat. California's legislation will prohibit this practice and likely become the de facto national standard. Bloom said, "The California bill was carefully crafted to avoid any loopholes that would allow for use of potentially harmful substitutes." Some companies had anticipated the move and already started phasing out microbeads entirely from their products. Other companies have already stopped using the microbeads altogether. A spokesman for Colgate-Palmolive told Fox News that in response to concerns from customers, they have stopped using microbeads as of year-end of 2014. Now don't forget that starting tomorrow morning, we start the USO Building 70th Anniversary Celebration. The celebration will run Friday through Sunday. Tomorrow at 10 a.m., they will have a rededication of the historic USO building. Then they'll have a new dedication of the new Veterans Memorial Building, which is right next to the USO building. A reception will follow the dedications. Then on Saturday, the public is invited to attend a concert in Freedom Park. It also appears the weather may be just perfect for this outdoor concert event on Saturday. Bring chairs, blankets, and a picnic lunch. But if you just want to attend, that's okay too. There will be vendors there selling food and drinks. There will be a series of music bands playing at Freedom Park all afternoon and the evening. Freedom Park is the large park at the rear of City Hall complex. The highlight of the celebration will be the concert in Freedom Park all day Saturday. It will be culminated with 2 performances of the national acclaimed USO Traveling Troupe. These are professional performers coming here to provide a great anniversary show. And finally, on Sunday, there will be a movie shown at the USO building. The movie will be Victory at Sea. It is a TV documentary series about World War II warfare. It was originally broadcast in the early 1950s and won an Emmy Award in 1954. The movie will start at 1 p.m. So if you were wondering what to do this weekend, there are events happening for all ages. Now stay tuned for today's KZGN Talking Points editorial when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Now it's time for the 86th KZGN News Talking Points editorial. Here's today's topic. More talk about mental illness associated with guns. Well, the Facebook blogs went wild after my last posting of my editorial topic, what new gun laws could be written to stop the types of school shootings we have seen lately. At the time I'm writing this editorial, there's almost 100 comments on this issue online. I really appreciate all the discussion, even though some posted used it for sarcastic comments instead of meaningful discussion. But that's okay. Sometimes through a person's sarcastic humor, we really learn their true thoughts on an issue. Anyway, the real challenge of my editorial was what new laws people think could be passed to stop the terrible senseless school shootings we've seen lately. Wally was hung up that Congress has to let the circumstances be studied by the CDC. That's the Center for Disease Control. And Congress won't let that happen, according to Wally. My reply to him is that because the school shootings are as a result of someone's mental state, not because of a gun. The gun was just a chosen instrument a person decided to use to carry out a terrible plot to kill people. That person could have chosen to use any other means to do the same carnage. He could have chosen a knife, an axe, a baseball bat, run a car into a bunch of kids at a bus stop, thrown a firebomb, or even made an explosive bomb. The gun is not the problem, it's mental illness. The only connection to guns is that the lawmakers and doctors have not come up with a way to or a means to determine a person's mental status and get it inputted into the database that links to background checks for potential gun buyers. That is the problem, not guns. The other thing I realized through the comments was a lack of understanding by people that do not understand the current laws already in place. And here's one I've stated before, but some still do not get it. They say private sale of firearms must be stopped. Again, I say, in California, private sales of firearms is no longer permitted. Any private person that wants to sell a firearm to another person must present himself, the gun, and the buyer at an FFL dealer to have the gun transferred in accordance with California laws, which means a background check is done on the buyer. Even at gun shows in California, all guns must be sold through an FFL dealer. There is no gun show loophole in California. Unfortunately, criminals don't care about laws, though. Only law-abiding people care about laws. Larry said he thought a ban on assault rifles was appropriate, as he didn't see any need for people to own assault rifles. Well, that is a fallacy. In current society, an assault rifle ban is totally based on the appearance of a type of gun used by the military. Yet many manufacturers have been making rifles for many years that don't look like one of the current assault rifles, yet still have the same capabilities. These rifles are used for hunting, target competitions, and self-defense. Bans on the currently defined assault weapons are useless knee-jerk reactions that accomplish nothing. There are plenty of guns that are much more lethal than the assault weapons of current times that people see no reason for people to own. Some comments attack that gun owners should be licensed, just like driver's licenses. There is one big difference. Driving is a privilege. Chris made the point that gun ownership is a constitutionally protected right, not a privilege. Besides, what good would a license do? People that buy guns legally already go through a background check in every state. Yes, I said every state requires people that buy a gun through an FFL dealer undergo a background check. That is federal law. Hillary threw in a thought-provoking comment. She said, here's a question. Just because a person might be sane when purchasing a firearm, what's to prevent him from becoming mentally ill after he or she purchases it? She goes on to say, in her opinion, we can't measure it or control this invisible problem. Well, she makes a good point. It is an invisible problem most of the time, except when the person may demonstrate that they are being unstable, like making death threats against someone via any means, face-to-face, social media, on the internet, in a school cafeteria, in a restaurant, or whatever. If someone hears or sees these threats, then they should report them to the police. Then we have the capability of the first step to stop the needless killings. The police will do an initial evaluation of the person. If they exhibit certain violent tendencies, the police will turn them over to doctors. Again, the answer gets back to my main point, the mental health system. It has to do with doctors reporting mentally unstable people to the DOJ for inclusion in a database linked to the background check system. Again, that is the problem. This is where Congress can pass a better law. Pass a law that gets rid of the doctor-patient privacy privilege in the circumstance of mentally unstable people as far as gun purchases. The background check system doesn't disclose the reason a person is blocked for purchasing a gun. All the background check does is tells the dealer yes or no to the transfer. It checks all sorts of different categories of a person's background, so the privacy of the individual is not violated in the system itself. As a gun dealer, when a person gets rejected for the transfer, the DOJ will not tell us why. They'll only talk to the customer. People can be rejected for all sorts of reasons, some of which unpaid traffic tickets, dishonorable discharge from the military, being a felon, being guilty of a misdemeanor of domestic violence charge, being behind in court-ordered child support, not being in the country legally, etc., etc. And one more, being adjudicated mentally unstable. There's the problem. When doctors do not report mentally unstable people, school shootings are not about the gun. It's not about licenses, training, or bans on guns. It's about the person. It's about the medically unstable person. It's about the reporting system. In conclusion, what we need is a law that forces people and doctors to report mentally unstable people to authorities, and in turn, reporting that to a computer database linked to the background check system. I want to thank everyone for really good discussions on Facebook. I'm Tom Whitnick, and that's what I think. I'd like to know what you think. If you have any comments about this editorial or would like to discuss or recommend a topic, I'd like to hear from you. Please email them to info@kzgn.net. Now stay tuned for weather and sports when we come back. Thanks for staying with us. Let's go to Keith for the weather.
Thank you, Tom. From the National Weather Service, Temperatures will be below normal across the northern and central plains and the upper Midwest as a cold front moves across the region. Frost advisories and freeze warnings are in effect. Temperatures will be 15 to 20 degrees above average for parts of the southern plains and into the lower Mississippi Valley. Temperatures across the nation. Carolinas came in at 72, Georgia 78, Arkansas 94, northern Texas 84, New Mexico 69, and Los Angeles at 74. For our forecast here in the IWV, tonight 50% chance of scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 65, east wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, scattered showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny with a high near 80, southwest wind 5 miles per hour. Friday night, scattered showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy with a low around 65, west-northwest wind 5 miles per hour. On Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 83, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with a low around 62, west wind 5 miles per hour. On Sunday, isolated showers, otherwise mostly sunny with a high near 80 degrees, west wind 5 miles per hour. Sunday night, partly cloudy with a low around 59, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. On Monday, it'll be sunny with a high near 80 degrees, northwest wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Monday night, mostly clear with a low around 60, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And on Tuesday, sunny with a high near 84, northwest wind 5 miles per hour. And as a look at our forecast for the IWV, now back to Tom and the rest of the KZGN News.
Thanks, Keith. Now we go to Tom Heck with sports.
And a very pleasant Thursday night to everyone. Let's start with local sports. Last night down in Whittier, the Rio Hondo College Roadrunners defeated Saracoso in volleyball. They swept all three games, two of those games very, very close. So the team comes home next Wednesday. They will take on Chaffee at 5:30. Next Wednesday, again, the next home game for Saracoso volleyball. Burroughs volleyball win yesterday. They defeated Hesperia. And tonight, don't forget the Todd Mather Show starts at 7 o'clock on 1240 a.m. radio. That's a CBS Sports affiliate in the IWV. Todd will be talking about tomorrow night's big game, and big it is. If Burroughs can get a win tomorrow night, they'll pretty much guarantee themselves a playoff spot. And that is very important because this year, really, besides Serrano, I think anybody can beat anybody in that Mojave River League. We'll see what happens. Friday night, it'll be Burroughs at Hesperia. Last year, Hesperia won a very tight game here on homecoming night. 2 years ago, Burroughs went over there and won easily at Hesperia. Hesperia has a very good running quarterback, good throwing quarterback in Michael Gleason. Burroughs is going to have to work on trying to contain him. All right, baseball. Who can ignore baseball this time of year? Going on right now, the Dodgers and the Mets, the winner take all, Game 5. The Dodgers had a great win the other night, 3-1 in New York. They were down 2-1. Clayton Kershaw stepped up. Zach Greinke tonight will get the same opportunity to step up. Should be very interesting, that game being played at Dodger Stadium. Now, talk about a weird game yesterday in Toronto, Game 5 of that series between the Rangers and the Blue Jays. The Rangers had a 3-2 lead, a weird seventh inning, something you hardly ever see, a catcher throwing a ball back to the pitcher. The ball hits the bat and trickles down the line. The runner scores, and even the umpires had to call New York to make sure they got the ruling correct. And then in the bottom of the seventh inning, 3 consecutive errors to start off the bottom of the seventh inning, if you can imagine. Then Bautista came in, hit the home run, and that was that. So the Toronto Blue Jays will advance. It's the first time in several years they've done that. You got to give credit to that organization. In fact, they did it without David Price winning a game in the playoffs. So David Price will probably get the ball for game number 1. Now the Kansas City Royals will be their opponent. The Royals last night in Kansas City with a win over the Houston Astros, and the Astros were so close. On Sunday, the Astros could have wrapped things up, had a nice lead, and kind of let it go. And the Houston Astros will have to wait till next year. What a very good year for the Astros, though. They had the most improved record in all of Major League Baseball. So the Chicago Cubs will await. The Cubs the other day handed the Cardinals a an early outing in the playoffs. Cardinals really shorthanded, a lot of injuries this year. Mike Matheny's done a good job getting as far as he did. So we'll have to find out who wins tonight's Dodger-Met game. The winner there will play the Cubs. That'll be a fun series. The Cubs have not won a World Series in over 100 years. That'd be a good trivia question. Who was the president the last time the Chicago Cubs won a World Series? They haven't been in a World Series since 1945. Very interesting. Okay, don't forget Todd Mather tonight. Don't forget tomorrow night, Burroughs football at Asbury. If you can't come to the game, drive to the game, you can tune in on 12:40 a.m. starting at 7 o'clock. Syracuse will have a practice baseball game this Saturday down in Antelope Valley. The Coyotes have done very well in their first two starts of the year in scrimmages, and they play 14-inning games, and they'll also have one more home game in a few weeks before they take their break, and they'll start again in January. Justice Scott, first-year coach, doing a great job, recruited a great bunch of kids this fall here at Syracuse. With that said, that's your sports for this Thursday evening. I'm Tom Heck for KZGN.
So that's the news for today. All of the KZGN-TV know you have a choice in what you watch for your news. We all thank you for choosing KZGN-TV, Ridgecrest's only locally owned community TV station. Now stay tuned for Ridgecrest Talk coming up next.